today to defend our right to protest, at the heart of our message is our continuing solidarity with the Palestinian people in their struggle for justice and sovereignty. We will never give up this cause. We will never cease our protest until Palestine is free. It is to end the genocide and war crimes that we have taken to the streets, that we have campaigned and lobbied for over 15 months. And it was to stop our government's support for genocide and demand an end to the bias of the BBC that we met in Whitehall last Saturday, and that a delegation sought to lay flowers in memory of all those so brutally slaughtered. Because far from the genocide being over, Israel is intensifying its violence against the Palestinians in the West Bank. It has shifted its focus from Gaza to Jenin, to the communities near Nablus and Ramallah. And there can be no doubt of their intention to shift their onslaught back to Gaza. We must step up our work to prevent that, because our work is not over, nor will it ever be until Palestine is free. We all know the truth about protest, that is central to the democratic process, that many of the greatest achievements in our history, the expansion of our rights, the overturning of unjust laws, the defence of our peoples, have come through protest, through collective action for change. And now is the time to step up that protest. Our movement for Palestine is under attack, but we are not alone. The attacks on the climate movement are deeply shocking. The sentencing is draconian. And these are the people who are taking action to save our planet, to ensure a future for all forms of life. And what does our government do instead? It's sabotaging the climate and nature bill, abandoning our climate targets, destroying the lives and livelihoods of untold numbers. And Labour MPs have been ordered to sink that bill. But it's not the Climate and Nature Bill that needs to be sunk, it's the Public Order Act, and we must raise that demand. Repeal the Public Order Act. As Amnesty has rightly stated, that act has ushered in a dark new era for protest rights in the UK. The police have been given licence to close down almost any protest they wish, and we are now seeing that unfolding. In a world where the far right has risen exponentially and the second Trump term is bringing ever greater abuses, the need to protest has never been greater. And when we protest on the streets in our many thousands against the rise of the far right here, as we will increasingly need to do, we will not be prevented from defending our communities, from exercising our humanity, because we cannot allow the overturning of our rights, and we will not allow it. The record of the peace movement in Britain is a brave and principled one. We are proud to stand in the tradition of Aldermaston and Greenham, with the hundreds of thousands who have mobilised against nuclear weapons and against the scourge of war, whether in Vietnam, Yugoslavia, Iraq or Palestine. The attacks on our movement are part of a drift towards authoritarianism. And it won't stop here with us. They will come for the trade union movement, for disabled people, for people on benefits, for people who are poor and hungry. All forms of resistance will face authoritarian pressures. So we need to unite, to embrace all in an unstoppable movement, to protest against injustice and to fight for change. This is our cause. We will fight together, we will protest together, and we will not be defeated.
Kate, I see retirement is going well for you as well. Kate, speaking from CND, there are one of the partners in the Palestine Coalition. There are 6 organisations that have come together since October 23 to campaign on this issue and demand a ceasefire and mobilise for that. And our next speaker is from another one of those organisations, the Palestinian Forum of Britain. Please welcome Faris Ammar.
Thank you. I'd like to start by stating that the PFB stands in absolute solidarity with Benjamin, Chris Nyland, and all others unjustly arrested and charged by the authorities. They have made a huge sacrifice for the sake of this movement, which must be acknowledged, and we must support them in every way possible as they face this miscarriage of justice. We at the PFB are immensely proud to be part of this long-standing coalition and the Palestine Solidarity Movement at large. For the better part of 2 decades, the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, Friends of Al-Aqsa, Stop the War Coalition, the Muslim Association of Britain, and the Palestine Solidarity Campaign have been working tirelessly for justice in Palestine. Whether it be on the streets of London and cities across the UK, or in the halls of Westminster, the Solidarity movement in the UK has done its utmost to advocate for the rights of Palestinians, and for that we at the PFB and the Palestinian people express our deepest gratitude. For 15 months, we have been marching peacefully in opposition to the genocide perpetrated by the Zionist apartheid state, backed by the United States and the United Kingdom. And for 15 months, we've had largely cordial interactions with the police. This all changed once the ceasefire in Gaza was announced. The authorities believe that we are winding down and that now we can be bullied into silence. In a decision that can only be described as an attack on freedom of expression and should alarm all of British civil society, the Metropolitan Police blocked us from gathering outside the BBC, which has defended the genocide over the last 15 months. Even more alarmingly, the police attempted to dictate to us a route that was set out by the Genocide Supporting Board of Deputies. We affirm that neither the police nor genocide supporting Zionists will dictate to us where we march. Despite the attempts by the authorities to shut us down, we did gather at Whitehall, and despite the fact that we did not push past police lines, they violently and unjustly arrested Chris Nyland, our head steward. They spread lies about our protests in the media and charged multiple people with public order offences, including Chris Nyland and Benjamin. This is an attack on civil liberties. This is an attack on our movement and an attempt to silence our calls for justice in Palestine. The UK government is shutting us down because it is not only complicit, but a direct participant in the genocide of the Palestinian people. They are afraid that we will uncover the extent of their crimes, in which case Keir Starmer, David Lammy, Rishi Sunak, and all those with blood on their hands will be sent to The Hague. united and defiant in the face of this authoritarian crackdown. We must not allow this to silence us or to slow us down. We must stand firmly behind those who were targeted by the criminal authorities, and we must grow louder and larger than ever before. We call on our friends in this room and all people of conscience around the world to help us establish a unified global solidarity movement that will help us be louder and more powerful than ever before in our pursuit for justice in Palestine. Finally, the price for liberation is high. But when we stand together, it is not only within grasp, it is a certainty. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Boris. A very clear speech and really important points. Our next speaker, who's just coming to the stage, I know you will all recognise him. Who attends our demonstrations regularly and has regularly spoken. He was also part of the delegation on Saturday that attempted to get to the BBC. He is steadfastly outspoken in his support for the Palestinian people, and we're very honoured to have you here. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you, PSC, and thank you, Stop the World, for inviting me to speak. I am a member of a group, a small group of Jewish Holocaust survivors and descendants of survivors. We are a small group, about a dozen of us, but stand at every single demonstration on the side. For several reasons and purposes. First of all, a natural feeling of solidarity with the incredible suffering of the people of Palestine and Gaza, but also to prove that it is a lie that the majority of Jews actually support Israel. There is no single homogeneous Jewish community, as some of the right-wing leaders would pretend, including the chief rabbi. They only represent, they don't represent the secular Jews by and large, and they only represent some of the Jews concentrated and users of religious observation in synagogues. But actually, there is a large number of left-wing socialist Jews who are not there and not acknowledged. They are simply, it's pretended that they don't exist. Nobody talks to the organizations that represent those parts of the Jewish community. They include people like JDL, the Jewish Voice for Labour, for example. We want to prove by our presence that it is not true that these demonstrations are unsafe places for Jews. Quite the contrary. Quite the contrary. we are so warmly welcomed on every occasion. We have hugs and kisses even. No marriage proposal yet. I think we are succeeding in undermining these lies. And the other important consideration is, in a few days' time, we'll have Holocaust Memorial Day. And we protest against the misuse of